Hey everyone, it's Dave, and welcome to week 3 of this semester. I want to apologize first of all for last week not being able to do a video, and trust me, you would not have wanted to see me last week. It was pretty rough, but I survived. I'm back among the living and ready to have some more fun. So, as far as week 3 is concerned, it's going to be a little bit different of a couple chapters we're covering. They're both very short, chapter 4 and chapter 6. And chapter 4 deals with like the Minoans, the Mycenaeans, as well as the Cycladic cultures. And all of these together kind of make up the pre-Greek history. In chapter 6, we're looking at the Etruscans, and they are the pre-Romans. And we're going to spend a lot more time with those two civilizations. In fact, they each get their own week of study. But I want to get these chapters out of the way, mainly because we're going to bring together an annotated bibliography this week. And that'll be explained in a separate video that will be posted. But I wanted to give you plenty of time to work on that. So that's why I kind of grouped two of these short chapters together. Get these out of the way, get the annotated bibliography done, and then we'll move on to some of the larger civilizations, the more important civilizations, again, such as the Greeks and Romans, and, you know, along with the Egyptians we covered last week. That's kind of the big trifecta of this course. The quiz itself is also fairly easy this week. It's true-false multiple choice questions, and there are 15 of them. Total amount of the quiz is worth 30 points. Now, last week's quiz, and I'm still waiting for some of those to be, in fact, let me close the mailbox, otherwise you'll start to hear it ringing with everyone inputting their quizzes from last week, because it's Sunday night right now, and I think I've had 5 in the last few minutes. Last week's quiz is important because it is a compare and contrast. And in art history, that's a lot of what we do, is we take two objects and we compare and contrast them. We look at the different elements that make them and how they're created, the different cultures that they're created by, how they're utilized within that culture, to give these objects some more meaning. And while I'm still waiting for some quizzes to come in, I'm still waiting for quite a bit, actually. So if you didn't do the quiz, you at least want to look at the worksheets and see how they work, because the final for this class is going to be a compare and contrast essay. And I kind of wanted to give you the building blocks of how to do that through the worksheet by taking the subject matters of two different objects side by side, taking their dimensions and the material they're made out of. So it's an important exercise, and that's kind of why we did it. Besides that, don't forget about the extra credit. You don't have to worry about it immediately, but over the next couple weeks, you may want to go ahead and do that, because it is 30 points, and that definitely has an impact on your final grade. And let me bring up the rest of the notes here if there's anything else. No, it's a pretty easy, straightforward week, but keep an eye out for the annotated bibliography material. I'll tell you a little bit about that right now, because we're only about 4 minutes into this video. I used to assign a fairly large project that was due at the end of the semester, and I kind of gave it to the students and just said, well, go do it. Of course, a lot of it was done last minute, and the results I got weren't really that fantastic. They were a lot less than what I had hoped for. And so what I then began doing was breaking up the project into more bite-sized pieces and spreading them over a longer period of time. And by first off having the students do an annotated bibliography, pulling the sources first, weeks before the project was due, this helped tremendously by identifying the sources, by getting the idea of what I'm going to write about. We also have an artwork that's assigned with this project. don't worry about that if you're not artistically inclined. It's a very easy project, and I can definitely show you some very easy ways of, getting the full points for that project. A lot of people, though, they just amaze me with the artwork that they're able to produce. And then finally is the written project. And the written project is meant to fulfill the writing requirements for this class. This is a general education humanities course. I believe it's Area C, if memory serves correctly. And there's a writing assignment that we have to do. And so I've made it as short as possible, not only because it's summer and all, but I have, nearly 100 students in my classes, and it's, it's tough to read through projects that are, tremendously long and trying to get them back in a relatively short period of time to everyone with positive and in-depth feedback to them. So the projects themselves, I think I am asking for 3 to 4 pages of writing. But again, I'll explain all of this in a later video. But it is week 3. We do want to start thinking about that project because it's going to be due in a couple of weeks. So by next Sunday, make sure you've done the quiz 3, and please make sure that you have done the annotated bibliography. As soon as you're done with that, please send it in. Don't hang on to it for any reason. Just upload it to me. That way I can take a look at it and give you some feedback before you move on to researching for your project. So again, it's just kind of identifying the sources that you're going to use this week, and also kind of the culture that you want to write about. And again, I'll cover that in a later video. But with that, I think that covers everything. Hope you all have a good week, and I'll see you next Sunday.